Today I just want to take a minute to go over some tape dispensers we have here at QuickPack. Now, when everybody has tape dispensers, these guys, they're all over the place. They're in warehouses, they're in offices, they're in shipping supply areas, and there are a lot of times they're in trucks or delivery vehicles. Now, customers from time to time, they have problems when they're case sealing, when they're taping their boxes. What you'll find is the edge here, the little tab at the end, which is about 2.5 to 3 inches, it'll just pop up and it won't stick to the box. A lot of times you might have boxes where there's a heavy recycled content in the carton, which there's a lot of loose fibers on the box or small fibers. Or if the cartons are laying around and they're very dusty, you're going to try and tape it, whether you're using natural rubber tape, acrylic, or hot melt, you're going to have similar problems. But we're all familiar with the usual suspect tape dispenser. Now this one here, as you can see, it has a tensioning device here, so you tighten it, creates more drag and friction on the roll of tape, makes it harder for the tape to come off the dispenser. Now what happens is most people, or if they're taping boxes, they're going to want to put their finger or their thumb up on the back to create more drag, and what they're doing is they're stretching the tape before they apply it to the box. So just to give you an example, you have the tape, cut a piece. Now obviously you see tape here, you lay it on the box, it seals down, you get a nice seal, the tab doesn't pop off. But when you have too much tension on the tape, what you're doing, you're actually stretching the tape. And then when you go to apply it to the box, the first thing that's going to want to happen is you're going to get that resistance where that tape is want to go back to its original size a little bit, just like stretch film. Now it's the extreme of stretch film, and of course what that's going to do is the tab is going to pop off and the box is going to open. The ideal solution is you need to apply the tape to the box with just a small amount of tension. Now you can do that with these regular dispensers, you just got to adjust this, but a lot of times when these are well used and they've been around for a while and they've taped a lot of boxes, these things wear out, and then all of a sudden they start to tighten up and you've got way too much tension on the tape, and then you're going to start having some of these problems where the little tabs at the end are just going to pop up. So you got a whole pallet full of boxes and you got the little tabs coming off. Now the other option, which we sell a lot of here, is the MT. It's the Mousetrap dispenser. They call it the Mousetrap because of this little guy. It just goes back and forth. Now these were designed primarily just to put a fixed amount of tension on the tape. An example, just to load the tape on here. So you got here, just grab the roll, you lift it up, slides in, your roll of tape is on, and then you got the tab, the start of the tape. You just run it on the underneath, around there, and then it comes up through the bottom, around the rubber roller, and then you got your blade and your wipe down flap. So just turn the roll. Let me see, you might see it better this way. Turn the roll, and then you're going to see the tab in here. Just grab the tab, pull it through, right there. Now as you can hear, the tape coming off, it's got a nice smooth, you're not stretching the tape isn't being stretched. Nice, easy, and it'll just give out the perfect amount of tension on the tape. Yeah, an example is tape up here, the box. And it just gives the perfect amount of tension. Now once you start overstretching tape, you're going to have problems with the tabs coming up at the end, because what happens is when you have a lot of tension on the tape, it's putting a lot of stress on the film and on the adhesive. So instead of the adhesive taking its time to bond to the corrugated and creating a solid seal, it's constantly being stressed where the film is stretching back, trying to pull it off the case. So it's kind of working against the whole idea of tape, which is lay it on nice and smooth with the right amount of pressure, and then the adhesive will start working in and making the bond to the corrugated. So again, the MT tape dispenser, it has a fixed amount of tension, it has a spring-loaded bar, and this is what keeps the roll in place and just the right amount of tension for tape.